Welcome back to Build It with Tim, everybody. This week's episode is about building a like system. Okay, so let's say we found ourselves in a very unique situation where we want to build an application called Tadabase. And in this application, we want to give our users the ability to vote on who their favorite cat is. Okay, how would we do that? I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you three different ways to do that. Um, Going from the most simplistic to the more complex. All right, so I can't talk about Catabase much more without laughing, so let's just get right to the video. As usual, we're going to have a sneak peek of the finished product before we start building it. So I'd like to introduce you all to Catabase. This is a system where users can go in and tell us what they think about these particular cats. Okay, we can like them, we can dislike them, and we're going to build three different methods in order to allow a user to do this, all with varying levels of complexity. Okay, so I don't want to give away too much right now. Let's just jump back to the builder and get started on building this. All right, we're inside the builder now and it's time to get serious. So we have our pictures, okay, inside of a data table. On this data table, we just called it cats, and we're using the attachments field here to upload our photos. Okay, so the most simplistic way we could do this is we just want to give any user, it doesn't matter, this is going to be like a public facing thing. We just want to give them the ability to say, yes, I like this, or no, I don't. Okay. And the way we can do that, we want to keep track of which one has the most likes, I guess, whatever you want to call it. I guess we'll just use the like system for now because I think everybody is probably most familiar with that. Okay, so the way we're going to do this in the most simplistic sense is just with a single table. And all we have to do is we just have to add a number field, and we'll just call this likes for now. Okay. Now, on our page, we have our list component in this case because, right, we're displaying pictures, so a list component with the attachments field set as the cover field is probably going to be the most aesthetically pleasing in this case. So we are going to use this component, and the way we're going to control the upvotes or downvotes or likes or dislikes is going to be through an action link. Okay, so here in my list component, the first thing I'm going to do is um, I'm going to delete this column inside, and I'm just going to add two columns inside this row. Okay, we're going to have a button on the left, a button on the right. And then um, actually, maybe what I'll do instead, yeah, let's actually start over. We're going to do a single column, single row, single column on top. And on the bottom, we're going to add another row. And this is what's going to contain two columns, one for our like button, one for our dislike button. Okay, so we'll make these equal width so that they each fill half of the card component or list component. And on the top here, we're just going to add the number of likes. Okay, that's the number field that's going to contain how many people press the like button, how many people press the dislike button. It's going to adjust accordingly. Okay, so here in the links section of the list component, we're going to add two action links. Let's move one into the left column and one into the right. Okay, on the left-hand side, we'll say, I like this cat. Sure, why not? And the icon will do, how about an arrow pointing up? And then we'll style it a little bit by changing it from a link to a button. And we'll have this be success. So success is usually green, and the other one will be red. Okay, so we'll do green. And here in the action rule, all we're going to do is we're going to say update this particular record. And we are going to set the number of likes. We're going to use the arithmetic function, and we're going to do +1. And we'll change the message there. Okay, so actually we'll do one more thing. We're going to hide the column title here. Okay, so we named the column or the button title, I like this cat, and by hiding that's going to set the not only the label but the button text is the same. So if we hide the label, then we'll just see the button with the text that we want. So this one will say, I don't like this cat. And this will be an arrow facing down. We're going to hide the title, change it to a button, change the color class to danger, which is going to be a red color. And our action rule for this case is going to say we're going to update this record, but we are going to do the subtraction of 1. Okay, that's all we have to do for this. So if I preview this page, and we'll let all these images load, okay, I can click this button, and we get 1 like. If somebody comes in and they don't like this picture, they can click the I don't like this cat, and it's going to subtract 1. Okay, so we added 1 with the like button, we subtracted 1 with the I don't like this button. All right, that is the most simplistic way that we could possibly do this. All right, so if you want to take this idea further, usually the way that people would want to take this further is they want to associate some sort of user with the action, right? This user liked it, this user didn't like it. Okay, and in order to do that, again, it's pretty simple. We only have to add 1 table, and I'll tell you why. So we have the cats table, we have the users table. We cannot, let's say, I guess most people's first instinct might be that they want to just add a connection field on the cats table, right? Like, hey, I like this cat, like let's connect it to me as a user, and that way, yeah, the user's fine. That way we know who liked it and who didn't. But the problem with this is that if I go in to the live application and I like this photo, then it's going to set me as a logged in user. But if you go in next and like the same photo or dislike the photo, then it's going to set you as a logged in user. So we need a way to keep track of every single user who pressed a button. Okay, and in order to do that, we're going to create another table. So we'll do that by saying, we'll just call it user actions. How about that? Because that's kind of what we are recording here in this sense. All right, and all we need here is 2 connection fields. We need, well, 2 connection fields, and we'll do 1 other field. So we can do, we'll start adding connections, 1 to the user, 1 to the cat, and I guess in this case, the display field. So you know what? We might actually need to, we're going to need to create another field in this cats table because we can't use that photo as a display field. That's not going to work. And they don't really need a name unless, I'm sure the cats have a name, but I don't know their name. So we'll just do a auto increment. Cat ID, okay? So this is going to be the auto increment for the cat record. And then here we have, I can't get through this without laughing. This connection to the cats table, and then we're going to use the cat ID as the display value so that we can identify which record we are talking about. Okay, so here what we want to do, I'm going to just keep it here for now, and then we'll expand on it in a minute. Okay, so let's go back to our page builder. I'm actually just going to copy this page. We'll just specify this track user action. All right, so we're going to keep the existing page here. We're just going to change the action button, and then we're going to go back to the cats table in order to make a couple changes here. But here's what we're going to do with the action links, okay? So rather than just updating the particular record that we're looking at, right? In this case, the picture of the cat, we want to say we like it or we don't like it. We are going to insert a new connected record into the user actions table. And what we're going to do is we're going to set the user to the logged in value. We don't need to set the cat ID here because we are setting that through the action. So that's already predetermined through the action. And we can keep all of this the same. All right. And then the I don't like this one, we're going to do the same thing. We are going to insert a connected record into the same table. doing the same exact setup, but then like I said, we're going to go back to the we need to keep making a couple tweaks. So I apologize. I'm going to go data builder, page builder, data builder, page builder, and then we should be done. To logged in user. Okay. So we've done that. Right. So when we actually do this, and let's do this now so that we can see where we're at. Let's just add a user. Okay, and we'll preview this page here. Let's log in. I didn't set any redirect rules or anything, so we'll have to log in and then go back to our home page. Okay, so we can add redirect rules at some point, but here we go. So I can say, I like this cat. Okay, we get our thank you message. And we'll also say, I don't like this cat, and we get our boo message. All right, so now we can go back to the builder, and we'll take a look at what that looks like. So here we have that connection to me as a logged in user, and I have the cat that I interacted with, right, or the cat record that I actually clicked a button on. But I don't know if I liked it or if I disliked it. So we're going to add another field here, and here I'll do a select field, and we'll just call this like action type. How about that? And one option can be liked, and the other option can be disliked. You don't have to do color labels, but I will for this case. All right, now the likes, in this cats table, it was just a simple number field. But in order to count the likes now from the user actions table, we need to use a rollup or a complex formula. In this case, I'm going to use a rollup, and we are going to say, well, we already have a field called likes, so we'll just likes rollup. And we're going to select the table that we want to do a calculation on. In this case, it's the connected user actions table. And we are going to count the number of records where the action type is liked. Okay, now this is going to be specific for each individual record. Okay, so that formula that we just set up, that calculation we just set up, is going to behave individually for every single record. So this record is going to go through this table, count all the records that had a like. Then it's going to do the same thing for this record, this record, this record, this record. All the records are going to have their own individual counts of how many times they were liked. Okay, so even if I refresh this here, we should see, oh wait, so we actually don't know. So let's say this one was a like, and let's say this one was a dislike. We can see here that this roll up is now populating. Okay, cat ID 16 had one like. So we could do the same thing to count the number of dislikes. We're going to look in the user actions table, and we're going to count the records where the action type is disliked. Okay, you can see this one had one like, one dislike. And if I go back to this page, I'm just going to refresh it. Oh, I must be on the wrong page, sorry. And that's fine, because I actually want to make a change here. So we don't need to show this likes number field anymore. In this case, what we're going to do is we're going to show the number of likes and the number of dislikes. One more thing we have to do is we have to actually make a change to the action rules now. Okay, so again, I'm sorry, I'm bouncing all over the place here. But this action rule to enter the connected user action right now is only setting the user to the logged in user, but we also need to save whether or not that user pressed the like button or pressed the dislike button. And in order to do that, we're going to record the action type. Okay, so this is the, which button is this? This is the I like this cat button. So we're going to set the action type to liked, and then we'll do the opposite for the dislike button. So we're going to set the action type to a custom value of disliked. Okay, so now in the action user actions table, we are recording when a user clicks a button. We're inserting a connected record using the cat ID connection. Okay, we're recording who's the logged in user and what button did they press. Okay, so let's preview this and see how this goes. All right, so we'll wait for everything to load. These images are pretty large here, so we'll wait for everything to load, and then we will test this out. So here we go. We got our message, and you can see our likes increased by 1. We'll try the dislike button, and our dislikes increased by 1. Now this is great because now we could track our own individual likes, or some administrator or something could track all of the user likes. So if we wanted to track or then show, let's go to like the profile page and say, um, we'll display a table of user actions that are connected to the logged in user, and we will show which pictures were liked and which were disliked. So here we can show a connected field of the cat and the action type. And if I go check out my profile, you're going to see I have liked or I've interacted with these particular pictures. Okay, so that's great. However, how do you stop somebody from just going in and spamming the like button in order to increase the number or decrease the number? Um, we might want to build a way to do that. Okay, so in order to do that, what we need to do is we need to validate that a user has not already liked that particular picture. In order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of change our approach a little bit. We're going to rather be like, you can press like, you can press dislike, you can press both, it doesn't matter. In this case, we're going to just say like, let's vote on it. Okay, so you get one vote. It's either a like or a dislike, and that's all you get. Okay, so we'll copy this page again. We'll just call it vote. How about that? And what we're going to do here is we actually need to we need to do this from a detail page or an edit form specifically. Okay, so we could do this from a pop-up edit form if we wanted to, but I'm just going to do it from a detail page for now. So the reason we have to do that is because the form component contains the ability to validate. Action links do not contain the ability to validate against different values that are being saved into the database, or Tadabase in this case. So we need to use a form. So I'm going to keep the list component, all right, but I'm going to delete the action buttons. We'll add a row. Yeah, we can leave it on the bottom. And we'll do a record details page and put that down here. Now, again, we're going to make this, try to make this somewhat appealing here. So we'll hide the title. We'll change this to a button. This will be primary color, and we'll say, rather than inline, we'll do block. This is going to make it full width. So we'll do that. And that's going to take us to our detail page. All right, so on this detail page, let's see, let's style this a little bit. We have the photo, that's fine. We can, again, hide the title. We have the likes roll up and the dislikes roll up. Let's add both likes and dislikes. Likes and dislikes. Okay, so there's our detail component. And now we're going to have a form component. So here we're going to choose form, and we're going to say add a new user action, okay? Because that's still the goal, is to actually record the user's action on this particular record. So we're going to do this, and let's customize it. And we'll just say action type, and we'll rename the title here. So do you like this cat? Choose wisely. Okay, so that's all we need to do there. We'll just get rid of the form title. hide the back to link. And now we're going to also redirect back to the parent page. And here we are going to, let's see, this is, what are we doing again? We're inserting a new connected record into the cat actions table. And here we're recording, we need to make sure that we're updating the record and setting the user ID to the logged in user. And cat ID is going to be set automatically, and the action type is being set manually here through the actual form component. Now we're going to add a validation rule to say that the user in the actions table is not unique, and we're also going to check the cat or the connected cat, okay? And we'll say you've already voted on this cat. Okay, so that should be all we need for this. All right, let's check this out and see how that works. All right, so we're logged in. Let's pick somebody who has no votes yet. So how about this one here? So we'll vote now. Okay, yes, I like that. All right, so now it takes us back here. You can see we have that one like, okay, because our roll-up fields are still working exactly how they were for this example versus the last example. It's just how the user is interacting with this has now changed. Okay, so now if we try to go back here and do this again, let's say I change my mind, I don't like this one, I can't change my vote because I've already submitted a record that has me as a connected logged in user. I've already had, or that record also has a connection to this cat, and therefore it's not unique. Okay, the record that I'm trying to submit is no longer unique, and I can't vote again. Okay, so you could potentially then, allow somebody to go into their profile and maybe change their particular action if they decided, hey, I want to change my opinion here. Then you could do that. You could certainly do that. But the point is that the validation is now working to the point where you can only vote once. Okay, and that's the point of this third method. All right, so just to recap slightly here, let's go in and go to our menu. And let's add our pages so we can go through them one more time. So that was this is our second one. Track user action. Our third method that we set up was Tadabase vote. All right, and let's also just set the icon here to match. Okay, so here we go. Here's method number one. The most simple method, again, to recap, is using a number field on the same data table of these cat pictures and the action links to increase that number by one or decrease the number by one. The second method, which is a little bit more complex, uses a second data table to track who was the logged in user when they clicked this button and what was their particular chosen action. Did they like the cat or did they not like the cat? Okay, it also uses roll-up fields on the parent table, in this case being the cat table, to count how many times or how many records contained a like and how many records contained a dislike. The third method that we used is to give the user one vote. One vote, they better make it count, and that vote is going to be validated. So we know that if somebody, did I not select a page here? Timeout. Did not select the page. Okay. Right. So back to this. So the voting, the third method. Okay. So this is giving the user the same ability to say yes, I like this, or no, I don't, but they can only do it once. And to do this, we're using a detail page with a form component and the validation rules that are built into the form component. Okay. And if I go back to this one again and try to like it again or dislike it, It's going to validate that those values are no longer unique, and I can't do it twice. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed Tadabase and this week's episode of Build It with Tim. I think that just about does it. I'd be happy to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.